You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
It is 19 degrees and sunny in the metropolitan Los Angeles area, and it is a beautiful day to keep on dancing down in West Hollywood and take a series lead. Let's get into it with the lead. You want to keep reading the lyrics from Pink Pony Club, or are we good? Oilers looking to keep the ball rolling down in Los Angeles. Game 5 tonight, Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show, coming to you live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. Show's also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app, use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Tyler, Liam, the YouTube chat, Aaron, Reese, Oilers, Kings, let's go.
Anyone else?
Jay, not here yet. Colby, Cohen in 15 minutes.
We got a big show today. We got to prep everybody for tonight's game against the Los Angeles Kings. And we will begin with...
Where were we supposed to start?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the host.
Oh, I should have worn a cardigan today. That's my bad. That would have been a good lead. That would have been a good lead.
That would
Dacky,
have been a good idea.
You DM me those ideas later. All right? Ryan asks, the real series starts tonight.
Yeah, the biggest one.
It's down to a best of 3. It's down to a best of 3.
This is the biggest game of the series.
Game 4 is always the swing game, but you're right. Today does have sort of that similar vibe to it where, like, my God, if you win this hockey game and the Kings are absolutely on their heels going into Game 6 and they got to come right back up to Alberta and deal with a building in which they've been eliminated in 3 straight years.
Twice. They beat them in Game 6.
Oh, yeah, Game 6 in LA was in LA years ago. So 2 of the last 3 years, like, come on.
And just knowing what has happened in those previous 2 games this series too, if the Oilers are able to pull it off tonight, I think the Kings have a very difficult task in Game 6.
Yeah.
With that said, they have held leads in both that Game 3 and 4 as well, so they maybe would be a belief there. But just the idea of knowing you were up 2-0 in the series and then the possibility of the Oilers going up 3-2, it's got to be something that's plaguing them in a way, I would think.
Yeah, it's got to be on their mind. And the other thing, too, is this is a lot of the same players and a lot of the same core in Los Angeles that has lost this series time and time again and choked away chances to win this matchup time and time again. So there's a lot we got to get to today. We got game notes. Like I said, we got Colby coming up on the Star Mechanical guest line. Plenty of things to discuss. I see the YouTube chat is alive and well. Tyler Mulick's in there. He says drag him back to Alberta. Not quite the same vibes because, this series is coming back to Alberta regardless, but I think it's more of like you need to bring them back to Alberta with them shaking in fear of their lives.
Yeah, you need to put them on the edge of the seats. It's
Yep.
just like, hey, this is it. They want to drag us back to LA. I guess you could put it in that way, right? Tonight, not to get ahead of it, but tonight the Oilers just need to start well. I think that's the big thing. They need to come out and they need to we spoke about it yesterday. The overtime period was something we haven't seen from them in who knows how long, with the amount, just the way they played. And it's just going to be difficult to maintain that, but you can still put together a strong 60-minute effort or close to.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's start things off because I already see some comments popping up. Let's do our lineup report really, really quick because I think this is going to be a pretty easy one. It's brought to you by our friends over at Douglas Mattress. I sleep like a baby every night on my Douglas, and you can too. And how about the value? Starts at just $599. You can visit them online at douglas.ca/nation, or if you're in Edmonton, they are a locally owned and operated Edmonton company. You can head down to their first ever physical location in Manchester Square. Find out more. Visit them at their website. Find out why more than 250,000 Canadians own a Douglas. It also comes with a 20-year warranty, including a 365-night trial to make sure you love it. Tonight's lineup for the Oilers. Someone said, Tyler, are you at all worried they go back to Stuart Skinner? Based on morning skate in Los Angeles, it is going to be Calvin Pickard getting the start again tonight. He was in the starters crease. So It's Pickard going up front for the Oilers. Nuge, McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Arvidsson, Henrique, Kane, and Brown, Janmark, Frederick, and Perry. So you're getting Podkolzin and Arvidsson up with Leon. Draisaitl, any surprises there at all for you, Liam? Oilers not really doing a whole heck of a lot to mess with the lineup that's won 2 games in a row. I mean, going back to the Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Arvidsson line only played 4 minutes together last game at 5-on-5. The thing for me, however they want to line it up and whenever we put up on Daily Faceoff, I'm almost like, who cares? It's about deployment and when Knobloch pushes and pulls on certain combinations.
Agreed. I wouldn't have changed anything. They're going to rotate these lines as the game goes on. So quite frankly, it doesn't even matter what they skated at morning skate. Last game, the game before, they skated Bouchard and Klingberg. I'm not even sure they played together, to be honest. But yeah, no, I like what Knobloch has done so far from the first 2 games of the series with the lineup and just had the flexibility. And it just shows how deep this roster is when you can throw different players here, there, and everywhere. And we saw it in overtime, obviously in game 4 of just everyone played. The Kings aren't able to do that. I'm very curious more about what the Kings' approach will be tonight. Will they give that 4th line even just 2 or 3 more shifts? I think that could actually help them, to be honest. But yeah, I'm fine with what's going on here for the Oilers.
And so someone tweeted, they're like, man, they're running back the Nurse-Bouchard pairing. Because again, this morning at skate, it was Nurse with Bouch, Wallman with Klingberg, Kulak with Ty Emerson, who, again, is expected to stay in after barely playing in the 3rd period and not being the only Oiler to not get a shift in overtime. So maybe a little bit surprised they're not going with Stetcher over Emerson, but I think the point you made yesterday, you don't want to lose the PK value that Emerson brings. And their PK has taken some noticeable steps forward. I know they gave up goals in game 3 of this series, but you even look at those, they both came right at the end of the power plays. Doughty's was a seeing eye wrister. Moore was a shot from the outside that went in and ramped up off a skate. I consider game 3 actually a step forward with the PK. Game 4 was an absolute win with the PK. I'm not worried about the penalty kill, and that's why I keep Emerson in.
I'm still not happy with it. Worried, I don't know. I mean, it seemed, just counting the odds, it seems like they would figure out how to figure it out eventually, and the Kuzmenko angle of things, of him getting injured or whatever he did the other day too, is obviously beneficial to the penalty kill. But keeping Emerson in, not been on the ice for a penalty kill goal, I believe. Yeah. So that's important. And I think too, if you remember back to the playoff run last season and the way the lineup was, guys like Connor Brown, we all know, weren't in the lineup against LA. But then he came in against Vancouver and he changed. And it's new opponent, new matchups. I think that's when we'll see more guys kind of rotating. I can't imagine Kasperi Kapanen's going to sit out the entire playoffs.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, injuries will happen, whatever. But for right now, I think this lineup proved it can work and you keep it together.
Yeah.
Last game, by the way, at 5-on-5, the Oilers had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different combinations of 3 players play 3 or more minutes together just at 5-on-5. So again, the blender is out. They're obviously trying to throw a ton of curveballs at Jim Hiller, and I would argue that it's working so far. For people who are nervous about the Bouch and Nurse pairing, they skated together at morning skate, but I'll go back to last game. At even strength, Evan Bouchard played 10:09 with Wallman, 8:46 with Kulak, and 8:31 with Darnell Nurse. They're not running with your traditional set forward lines and all of that. So, or D pairings.
D pairings, yeah. And this two are just interesting. They're a bit chaotic, aren't they? And I think that's what worries people.
Yeah. If I had a say in things, I think Kulak and Bouchard is your best pairing. And I would like to see them together more. You look at last game, 8:46 together at 5v5, shot attempts 17-6, goals 1-0 for Edmonton. You compare that to the Nurse-Bouchard pairing, very similar amount of time on ice, but they were outscored 3-0 and outshot 6-0. And they do use Kulak and Bouchard almost exclusively in the offensive zone, which is obviously going to inflate a lot of those numbers. You're winning a draw, getting a quick shot attempt. But the percentage was actually really high for Nurse and Bouchard too, and they still found a way to get caved. So I would like to maybe see a bit more consistency on the play Nurse and Wallman together, let them get comfortable and familiar, and then treat Kulak and Bouchard like a true workhorse top pairing.
Could get behind that one, I think. Yeah, this Kulak thing is interesting because they had those comments in here, the more he plays, the more he feels like he can find his game and become better and grow into the game, but just shows his versatility that you can place him on your third pairing and all of a sudden it's well, he's in the conversation for the top pairing as well. So I like it. Wallman, although he only has 1 point in this entire run, I think is +6 or something like that so far for them in the playoffs. So that's a huge positive as well. Obviously, something people noticed when he came over, of just like he was on that Sharks team and was somehow still +1 despite how everyone else was doing. So the blue line is come along. I know it's only been 4 games, but it's really come a long way since game 1 of this series. Like, kind of forget Josh Brown was playing minutes. That was not great.
This series just has a different vibe from games 1 and 2. Obviously, again, momentum doesn't necessarily roll over game to game, but the Oilers looking to put a little bit of a scare into the LA Kings tonight. Projected lineup for Los Angeles: Kuzmenko, Kopitar, Kempe stays the same. Byfield centers Fiala and Laferriere stays the same. Deneau centers Fogle and Moore stays the same. The fourth line, which they basically doesn't matter. I mean, it sounds like it'll be Malott and Hellenius. Turcotte might draw in, unconfirmed. Anderson, Doughty, Gavrikov, Spence, Edmondson, Clark. Again,
are they that bad?
Those players, they must be.
I don't know. I feel like when the Oilers played him earlier in that one game in LA, whatever the score was, like, Malott scored another goal disallowed. Like, they were able to do something. Hellenius is a World Juniors player for Finland. A young guy. Like, I just feel like they can't be that much of a liability. I would give an opinion on them, but we've literally not seen them play.
Yeah, I just know Sam Hellenius is tall. So
he's tall and doesn't know what offside is.
Well, there's that too.
Because he's a cheater. And Trevor Moore, 2-time Stanley. Trevor Lewis, I mean, he's won Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
Like last year, Kyle Okposo was playing minutes in the Cup final.
Yeah, not a lot, but he did get in a game.
Play.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just feels like you have to have sounds like I'm vouching for the Kings to do something good here, but it just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I mean, it's on the long list of shit Jim Hiller's doing that doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but whatever. All right, there you go. That's your lineup for each side tonight. Obviously, Pickard v. Kuemper between the pipes. Kuemper's stat line, not overly impressive in this series, but I do think he's been pretty good. Like these last 2 games, I think, are actually different if the Kings have an average, not an above average goaltender. Because like you look at this and you're like, ooh, you kind of wince. But like he's done his job for me in this series.
He was unreal in overtime.
He was unbelievable in OT.
You could argue he was the best player in overtime on both sides of the puck. Like, he's stopped them a ton. So, yeah, he's not going to be easy to beat tonight. Again, like, as much as the Oilers have been able to come back in games, they have had to pile on the pressure to beat him. Like, who was he? Robbed somebody too late in the Klingberg, obviously, like
with the pad.
He's been their best player. The numbers again are irrelevant. It's the win-loss.
All right, Damon dropped in a comment and said, "Read the goddamn super chats, boys." Whoa, there's only been 2. We'll get to them. Damon said, he says, Colby Cohen hasn't had any faith in the Oil all season. So that's why you wanted me to read it. Hey, Damon, well, on that note, let's bring in our friend Colby Cohen, because I like getting a little outside perspective on this series. The Star Mechanical guest line is brought to you by, guess who? Star Mechanical, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca. Colby Cohen, one half of Morning Cup of Hockey with Johnny Lazarus, former NHL defenseman. Colby, people are calling you an Oilers hater. What do you have to say for yourself?
Listen, I'm still not a believer in the Oilers.
Colby!
I can't come on here and lie to you guys. I'm listening to you guys go through the beginning of the show, and I just want the rose-colored glasses that Liam is wearing today to look at everything Edmonton Oilers, because watching him spin and spin and spin and talk about the depth and talk about, listen, I have ridden this bandwagon with you guys. I wanted to see a Stanley Cup in Edmonton last year. Connor McDavid is the most entertaining human being in sports. But I don't have faith in them this year. I don't think they've managed the roster well. I don't trust the goaltending. I think there's massive problems on the back end. And you know what? They don't manage the puck. And when you don't manage the puck or manage your decisions, you have horse races every night. And I don't know. Like, I just don't put my head down at night having a lot of faith in the Oilers this year. I'm sorry. Like, I have to be honest with you guys.
Okay, well, then let me spin this another way. If you're someone who picked him back to the LA Kings, which you did, how can you have any faith in the LA Kings in this final best of 3? Because you can talk about the Oilers not protecting a puck. LA can't protect a lead. You can talk about the Oilers' depth. The Kings are playing 4 defensemen and 9 forwards, Colby. Like, that's not sustainable for a best of 7 series.
Both things are completely true. I cannot believe the way that the LA Kings have pissed this series away, a series they were in total control of. And, you've let Edmonton back in. You've let the best player and maybe the second best player in the world have a lot of hope. Their power play is back up to 40%, right? I know LA's is 46%, but they kept him off the board the other night, in a pivotal game 4. And look, that's the outlier here, is that Connor McDavid can just do things no one else can. I'm not saying that I have faith in the LA Kings, because they have given me no reason to, but I just don't think that this team is built for a long playoff run. And I think that's a shame, because I think when these games get to the final focal point of an NHL season, hockey fans should get to watch the best player in the world. And I don't think that's going to happen this year. I hope I'm wrong, by the way, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
I'm devastated. I have a question about the blue line, Colby. Obviously, Ekholm not being in this team is huge.
Awful, yeah.
He's kind of defined what the blue line is right now. But like, you look through it, and we obviously talked about it a little bit. They're just like kind of throwing guys here, there, and everywhere. Like, what have you made of Evan Bouchard? Because on one side, he's been the best offensive defenseman in the league in the playoffs. On the other side, he's been the worst defensive defenseman in the league. Like, he's just like, his mistakes are so glaring.
His mistakes are glaring,
but his offensive plays are so good.
The high risk, high reward factor. I saw somebody tweet this the other night and said Evan Bouchard is like a really, really beautiful, toxic girlfriend. You just love them, and they do certain things for you, but then they make you feel really, really terrible so often, by their actions, or boyfriend if you're a female, whatever it may be. Like, look, I just think that, the mistakes have really come back down his throat this year, unlike in other years. And, the decision-making, I think, has been magnified on a guy like Bouchard, because I don't think they've gotten support from the forwards. You look at the 2-on-1 goal the other night where Nurse kind of creeps up and gets a little caught in the pile. The forwards are gone, right? Like, you leave Bouchard in a 2-on-1 around the net with Byfield, where do I think Bouchard played that well? No, but where's your help? You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of the defensive struggles, Liam, start with the forwards. And I think the forwards not holding an F3 and diving in at the worst possible times. And sometimes you live and die by that, because they're they got some of the best offensive talent in the world. But in this series, it's just been glaring when it hasn't worked. But look, tonight is the night. I heard you say that. Like, tonight is the night. Who wins tonight wins this series, in my opinion. And both of these teams have struggled on the road so far. So I don't know what to make of it. Calvin Pickard, friend of the show, he's come on Morning Cup of Hockey. But, like, again, I'm sorry, you owe it to Connor McDavid to have a better goaltending situation for the Edmonton Oilers. You owe it to the city. You owe it to the best player in the world. Like, fix your problem in goal, please. Why are we talking about this again?
Yeah, I do get what you're saying. I think coming into the year, I thought it was more than fine to roll with this duo. Obviously, I've been a big defender of Stuart Skinner this season with Calvin Pickard. I totally get what you're saying, where, like, yes, you have a 30-some-year-old journeyman goalie who's now being thrust into being your starter. I view him as a high floor, low ceiling goalie. Like, you are not getting a 44 save shutout or a 975 save percentage from Calvin Pickard in a game. But I look at what he did in the 2 games he's now started in this series, and it's like that one Trevor Moore goal with one hand on the stick. That one was bad, but, like, he stopped every puck he needed to in a really close hockey game in Game 4. And the other thing, Colby, and I mean, you've been on, obviously, a lot of hockey teams. You've played professional hockey. The group in Edmonton loves that guy. And you saw it with the reaction from McDavid after the OT winner.
And that is a huge factor. And anybody who tells you it's not doesn't know what they're talking about, because guys get up to play and protect their goaltender. And look, Calvin's done enough to win 2 games. Okay, he's 2-0. So, was there a couple that I would rather see him stop? Sure. A couple of those ones that go up in high over him. It's just I think the thing is, when it comes to Calvin is that I'm just, like, sort of waiting for it to not go well. And again, he's a journeyman. He's an unreal guy, unreal guy, like a guy you're all cheering for, whether you're a teammate, a fan. He's an easy guy to rally around, a great personality. But it just, I look at the competition, and again, if it's not LA, it's going to eventually be Dallas or Vegas, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's only going to get harder from here. And I don't look at the Edmonton Oilers as, okay, they won one playoff round, it's all good. Like, it's cup or nothing. Like, you have the best, arguably, 2 players in the whole world, and you've got a contract situation coming up. And I fully expect Connor McDavid to remain an Oiler, for the record. I think all the chatter from the cheap seats is nothing more than chatter from the cheap seats. But, I think that the world needs to see Connor McDavid. And so I get maybe a little too harsh when I feel like they're not going to see them. But, hey, I feel how I feel.
You probably heard us talk about it, and I know we addressed the Kings' depth and the Oilers' depth or whatever, but like, why would they not play that fourth line just like a few more shifts? Do you not think that would actually help them? And like, the fact they're only playing fourth defenseman doesn't make sense to me.
And sorry, just to piggyback off that really, really quick, Colby, we saw in overtime, that penalty Gavrikov took is because he was gassed. And there's a part of me that sits there and goes, man, are you maybe not quite as gassed if you had 4 more minutes on the bench because you actually played Jordan Spence, who I think is fine?
Yeah, listen, guys, Jim Hiller probably doesn't keep his job after this playoff round, right? I mean, if Edmonton comes back and wins this playoff round, I think Jim Hiller's one and done. He has mismanaged his area as a coach as much as you possibly can in the first round, whether it's the challenge. You look at the ice time discrepancies, and I got to tell you something, in an overtime game, I think Knobloch needs to use his guys a little bit more at the bottom, and not necessarily your defensemen, but I think you could get a couple more minutes out of Janmark. I think you could get a couple more minutes out of, some of those guys in the bottom 6, especially if you want to have a long run here. But a minute 44, 5:19, 2:27, it's just mismanagement. Where's Alex Turcotte? If you really can't play that guy more than a minute and 44 seconds, what are you doing? Okay, Rob Blake, what kind of team did you build? All right, I'm not letting LA off the hook here, guys, but this is Oilers Nation. I came on here to talk mostly about the Edmonton Oilers, but, it's gross mismanagement. You could say whatever you want about the Edmonton Oilers coach, Knobloch, but it's pales in comparison to what Jim Hiller has done on the other bench.
I want to get your opinion on some of the other series, but I like this one from Robin in the YouTube, who said, tell Colby to say something nice to end this off, and we forgive him. I don't know what they're forgiving you for, but give me the Oilers' path to victory tonight. Like, complete the sentence. The Oilers win tonight if
they win the special teams battle.
Simple as that. And
I got to tell you, very doable. It's not undoable, but win the special teams battle. You win the hockey game. Look at the series, right?
Yep.
The power plays come alive. You got to expect Evander Kane's going to feel better and better the more he plays and have more of an impact. I know his minutes were way up as compared to the first couple of games he played last game. But, win the special teams. You win a hockey game. You come back to Edmonton with an opportunity, as you said in the beginning of this show, to close them out on home ice.
All right. We're going to do a fun. Do you have one more?
I have one thing.
Okay.
Since we're switching to the other series, what did you make of the Ekblad hit yesterday on Brandon Hagel, who's now been announced out for the next game, which seems suspicious considering the hearing hasn't happened yet or whatever he's supposed to have.
The timing. You know the timing of them announcing that he's out. They got that as early in the day as they possibly could. Here's what I'll say about it. It looked ugly because when you see a player cock back like that, it really looks ugly, Liam. But until I see a reverse angle, okay, and I see if the main principal point of contact was his chin or his body, I from what I was told and what Frank told us this morning on Morning Cup of Hockey was that Department of Player Safety has a reverse camera angle that we have not seen on any of the telecasts. That's what he said on Morning Cup of Hockey. So, because of that, and because of the hearing, it leads me to believe that this was mostly face, neck, and head, and no shoulder, no chest. But again, we're kind of like, it looks horrible. It looks cheap. It looks like not a hockey play. But you guys can't tell me that we have a perfect view to see where the contact actually was. we're guessing. We think we know, but can we say with 100% certainty? Like, I want to see that other angle before I tell you how many games I think he should be suspended. But I do think he'll be suspended.
Yeah, I think that's a good point on the second angle. My take on it is, like, you can't cock back like that and lead with your forearm. It's clearly targeting Brandon Hagel, who was suspended for a game in this series. So, like, even if he got him on the chest, I'm giving him a game. And if he got him in the chin, I'm giving him 2. Because I think in the regular season, if he gets him in the chin with this, regular season, that's a 4-gamer easily.
Yeah, well, can we just say this? We compared it to, like, we took the 2 hits from that series, Liam, and we compared it to other guys that have either been or not been suspended. The closest thing we could find to what Ekblad did, and again, not apples to apples, because Leon Draisaitl didn't pull his arm back, okay? There was no cock motion. But do you remember last year he got Barkov with a forearm sort of shiver that hit Barkov? I think it was like right here. And it was a short little motion, forearm shiver. You guys remember the play I'm talking about?
Yep.
No penalty, no suspension. So, like, we revisited other instances. We revisited the Kucherov suspension against Columbus, and we thought that was similar to the Mikkola hit and 5-minute major from that game. So we just wanted to go back and look at historical data to see what have they called on similar plays before. So I'm just dying to see that reverse angle that Department Player Safety has that we have not seen yet.
Yeah. All right. We want to go through every series with you, but we don't have enough time for you to be given your classic Colby long, eloquent answers. So I have my stopwatch out. We are going to mute your mic at 30 seconds every single series. Let's start Toronto, Ottawa. Colby, go.
I think Toronto closes that series out tonight. I think the core 4 steps up. I expect a big night out of John Tavares and Anthony Stolarz.
All right, you only needed 10 seconds for that one. Tampa, Florida, quickly, go.
I think after last night, I have a hard time seeing Tampa clawing back into this series. I think Florida just is that well-oiled machine. I love the additions of Seth Jones and Brad Marchand. I thought they were 2 of the most impactful players last night. Again, I think Florida closes this thing out in next game.
All right, next one in the East. You might do the whole East in 30 seconds. Can Montreal come back against Washington? Go.
They cannot. I think Washington is too big. They're too strong. I think it's too inexperienced of a defensive group for Montreal. I've loved Lane Hudson all year. He's continuing to put up points, but when you've got all these 6'3" and 4 forwards bearing down on you constantly, difficult to handle. I like Washington to end this series.
Nobody gives a shit about Carolina, New Jersey. Let's go. Winnipeg, St. Louis, 2-2 series, playoff Hellebuck. Go.
Oh, man. I expect a bounce back for Connor Hellebuck, but I do see this series getting to 7 games. I picked Winnipeg before the series. I'm going to continue to roll with Winnipeg. I'm going to continue to put my faith in guys like Kyle Connor, and they're going to get it done.
Nathan McKinnon is yelling at his teammates. Can the Avs come back against the Stars?
I mean, look, he puts a lot of pressure on guys, and I think it was actually Brock Nelson who had the mistake that he was getting on Charlie Coyle for. Look, I think right now I like the way Dallas is playing. I like how patient they are defensively. Mikko Rantanen starting to heat up. I'd love to see Landeskog win a series here, guys, but I think Dallas is going to end up taking this series in 7.
Are the Oilers going to Minnesota or Vegas for round 2?
They're going to Vegas, baby. They're going to Vegas because I want you guys to be able to go have some fun in Vegas.
I'm all in on that one. Colby, appreciate your time. Thanks for doing this. Morning Cup of Hockey, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Mountain on the Daily Faceoff YouTube.
Friday in the playoffs, buddy. Monday through Friday for the playoffs.
Oh. Shit, we got Colby Cohen working 5 days a week. Wow.
Complaining all the way through, but I'm doing it. Love you guys. You guys are the best.
Bye, Colby.
See you, Colby. Thank you.
There goes Colby Cohen.
Off into the night.
Off into the night. That was fun. I like the rapid fire. That was a good idea.
Now back to thinking the Oilers are the best team ever and nothing can stop us.
I think the Oilers' depth has been perfectly fine. They have 2 games with goals from their fourth line in this series. Granted, they lost both those games.
So, theoretically, they don't actually want any contributions from their fourth.
Oilers play better when their best players take over the game.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a hot take, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, Liam, first off, actually, our friend Colby was also brought to you by Tourism Jasper. Very excited to have Tourism Jasper back on board. From hiking trails, paddling wild waters, or sharing laughs by the fire, happiness finds you here. Jasper is open, it's vibrant, and it's ready to welcome you back for more unforgettable memories. Drive over, play outside, soak up the fresh air, enjoy some food and drink, and maybe even stay up late. Ooh, past your bedtime. Plan your trip at jasper.travel/summer. Your best summer memories aren't behind you. They're waiting for you this summer in Jasper. I also want to get to our one big take for today's show, which is brought to you by Service Credit Union. The Service Big Share Contest. Tick, 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 tick. It's in its final few days, Liam. The contest ends tomorrow. Visit service.ca/win to find out more about how you can get in last minute on the Service Big Share Contest. It's your chance to win $1 million just by saving money. Talked about the Oilers and their lineup. There was an interesting number. Our boy NHL Sid, boy genius NHL Sid, writes great stuff for us over at Oilersnation.com. He had a line in his notes today. In Game 2, Knobloch elected to load up the top line with McDavid and Draisaitl. Remember, that was a road game. Danault was hard matched against that duo all night, and they were up 8-0 in scoring chances in those minutes.
Okay.
I think there's something to be said in this game. And listen, obviously, the trio that played the most together out of all the Oilers lines last game was still McDavid, Draisaitl, and Perry, because they had all those ozone starts at 5-on-5, and they played really, really well. Shot attempts 18-7. I think tonight, my big take, load it up. I want 30 minutes from McDavid and Draisaitl in this hockey game. That's maybe a bit of an exaggeration. 25, 26, 27 minutes. I want them on the ice every second shift. You can find ways to rest them and sit them before a TV timeout, coming out of a TV timeout, keep them on the bench, give them like good solid rest periods. But like, I want those guys out there pretty much every second shift in this hockey game, because I think what we saw in Game 2 was that even if the Kings have their best shutdown centerman against them, that line can roll. And listen, does it make me nervous about what you have left in the rest of your lineup, especially considering that Nuge line has had some really, really tough moments? Sure. But I'm still just not worried about that. I want to give my star players the best opportunity they have to win this hockey game. And to do that, I'm leaning on them heavy. And I'm saying, boys, take over this series for us. They are the big differentiator in all of this, right? You can talk about goaltending, talk about blue line, talk about the style. The biggest difference in this series is that Edmonton has two players who can absolutely take over a hockey game no matter what their opponent is doing. And tonight, I just want to see the Oilers lean into that.
Yeah, I would like to see them do that too, I think. And I don't know. I feel like that second line of Kane, what was it? Kane, Nuge, and who would the other one be? Hyman. I feel like that trio has been good. So maybe you can just have Kane up there with Draisaitl and McDavid instead. And I think you could work those top two lines a little bit more. But you're right. Like, all in all, even Colby, like you said, it's like you have to win the special teams battle. Like, they need these guys to be their best players tonight. And to be fair to them, they have been the best players in all four games so far too. So yeah, I'm with you. Like just live and die by your best guys and make the Kings beat you. Don't beat yourself.
What's going on behind the scenes there? Okay. Connor McDavid passing this series with the Stanley Cup playoff ranks. Total offensive zone passes first. Passes under pressure first. Slot passes first. Shot assists first. Scoring chance assists first. Connor McDavid's in a pretty good zone right now, I think you could say. That there, though, to be fair.
Is that good?
That's almost a counter argument to what I'm saying. Because you look at this and you go, he is moving the... Actually, maybe it's not. He's moving the puck so well, anyone can produce with them? Or do you sit there and say he's moving the puck so well, put your best finisher on his side and put him on the ice with Leon Draisaitl as much as you can and laugh as they score 4 goals tonight?
To be honest, I'm just kind of over the idea of playing McDavid with anybody. Like, I don't want to see Connor Brown with McDavid tonight.
Nope.
I don't want to see Henry get shifts with him. I want to see the other best player in the league get some shifts with him. Like, I can live with, like, Kane and Hyman if they get minutes with him, Nuge or whatever. I guess he is on that line. But, like, no. McDavid with players who can put the puck in the back of the net and go win this damn thing. There's no time for experiments anymore.
God, I just want Connor McDavid to crush them. Just absolutely crush them.
What's his point total right now? 9?
Dude, I saw a tweet.
Pretty good.
I'm gonna fact check this one because the tweet made it seem so insane. Like, I mean, this right here, 25 points for the Oilers' big three through 4 games in this series is just like insanity. It's absolute insanity. But those 3 players just against the LA Kings in these playoff series. I'm applying the filter now. Okay. There's been 22 games. They have combined for 125 points, those 3, in the 22 games.
Damn.
Like, what?
That's a bit bonkers.
45 for McDavid, 39 for Draisaitl, and 31 for Evan Bouchard. They have 37 goals and 125 points in 22 games. Like, what?
I'd love to know what other trio has done that against another team. Probably Gretzky, Coffee, and Mess.
Yeah, but like, I mean, yeah, I don't
Calgary,
know.
Probably, I don't know.
Man, it's just, yeah, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Draisaitl and Bouchard have 6 game-winning goals in their 22 games against the LA Kings. Connor McDavid actually doesn't have any.
No?
He's due. He's due.
Sorry, he doesn't have any goals in game.
He doesn't
5?
have any game winners against the LA Kings in the playoffs.
Wow, ever. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wonder how many assists he has on a game winner.
I mean, probably all
one at least. He got one last game.
probably on all 4 Leon Draisaitl winners and both Evan Bouchard winners and the 2 Hyman winners.
Yeah, I would. It's safe to assume.
Probably those ones. 125 points in 22 games for 3 players against 1 team is honestly one of the craziest fucking stats ever.
Yeah, that one will help you get along the line, won't it? Across the line. And
That's nightmare fuel. I want those 3 on the ice all night tonight. And someone said, you'll kill them. That's too much. I don't care. I do not care. Play the hell out of them tonight. Let's go. This series is a best of 3. We're ending this thing on Thursday.
Because the thing is, too, like,
The Kings don't have an answer.
you come back on Thursday and play game 6 and you're up 3-2. As much as, like, you will obviously need to play those guys, being at home and just being able to match lines will give you the benefit of, like, you can almost reduce them a little bit and not have as much of a risk factor. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. There you go. Sherwood Ford Giant game.
Sorry, with all that said, I do 100% believe in the depth of this team pulling through.
I do. I think they can survive. I think and here's the other thing too is like we talked at game 1 and I said like Edmonton at A+, LA at A+. Edmonton's winning. Edmonton is the better team when they're playing at their best because of the differentiator of the star power. I actually didn't think through 2 games in this series that we had LA's best. That I think if you're grading it from a Kings perspective, those are probably B+ hockey games for them. But we also didn't have Edmonton was what, C? Game 3. Yeah. I mean, I thought Edmonton started well, but obviously still not their A. Game 4, I felt like the first 40 minutes of game 4 was the absolute best LA could possibly play. They were pushing the pace. Yeah. They were generating chances. Even when the Oilers scored in the second period, it was met with 6 minutes of them being hemmed into their own end, all of that. I think we're just due for a game where Edmonton comes out and is just at their best. And maybe we're due for a game where LA is at their C level. Because, again, I think they've kind of been B, 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 and A.
Yeah. Marvin says that Kings play better at home. They do.
Yeah, they do.
But the Oilers also aren't that bad of a road team.
No.
They're a good road team. Like they go, I don't know what their record is exactly. I know it's over 500 because good teams would have good home records over 500 and road records.
Oilers on the road this year, 23-18.
There you go.
Much better road team than LA. I mean, I guess if you want to include the playoffs now, the Oilers are 23-20 on the road, and the LA Kings this year would be 17-26 on the road. Mm-hmm. Edmonton is the better road team compared to LA, so presumably if anyone's going to buck the trend of the home teams winning, you would think it's the better road team in the two. Granted, LA more dominant. Like it's part of the reason why this matchup is so fascinating, right? Again, the ebbs and flows or the pros and cons of each team just intersect with each other in such an interesting spot. I talked about this with Frank today, where it's like the LA Kings are very good at being opportunistic. The Oilers are giving them plenty of grade A opportunities, and the Oilers' goaltending isn't good enough to bail them out and steal them games. On the LA side, they thrive on get an early lead, sit back and play good defensive hockey. And what happens when they sit back and play good defensive hockey? You end up playing a passive style that Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can pick apart. So again, something's got to give here at some point. Either Edmonton's got to find a way to play a complete game on the road where they start to leave the LA Kings absolutely scrambling, or the LA Kings are going to find a way to play a full 60 and they're going to move off of their passive protect the lead style and keep pushing. Because if they keep pushing, I think they win game 3 or game 4. And if the Oilers have a good first 40 minutes in game 1 or game 2, they probably win game 1 or game 2. A lot of what ifs. But
That's why you play the game.
That's why you play the game.
Best of 3, throw the records out. I don't care about home records. Who wants them more?
Yeah, records do kind of become irrelevant at this point in
Once
the series.
the puck drops, yeah.
And I also think after the first round, everything kind of becomes irrelevant in a way in the regular season. I think the first round, there is things that obviously matter. And someone was on the radio the other day saying that, well, the Kings started the season bad because they were on the road so much because their arena was getting renovated. It's like, well, they were never still able to catch up to their record.
Yeah.
You know, so they did have a weird start to the year, didn't they? And that they were like 0-10 or whatever, but still, like, the season is still the season.
All right, Sherwood Ford Giant game day. Do we have some game notes from our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant?
Yes, we
Let's give them a listen.
The Oilers have won each of the last 2 Game 5s against the LA Kings. Let's go Oilers!
With 4 goals in his last 2 games, Evan Bouchard now has 14 goals over the last 3 playoffs, more than any other NHL defenseman in the league. Let's go Oilers!
Giant Mike here. We got that big pick energy. And with that win in Game 4, Calvin Pickard now has 3 out of 4 wins in his playoff career with a .901 save percentage. Let's go, Captain Pickard.
Windy.
Love it. Love it from Giant Mike. It is a windy day out today.
It is.
I like the one about Pickard. He's won 3 of his 4 playoff games. 901 save percentage. Give me 900 tonight, Cal, and we're good to go.
Also, shout out Giant Mike. He's in the chat right now.
Shout out Giant Mike. He's in the chat.
Also, shout out Star Trek. A little bit of a Star Trek reference there.
Captain Pickard.
We haven't heard enough.
Oh,
I think it'd be good to, we're usually good at picking that up. I feel like that's one that we've missed out on, Captain Pickard.
all right. Some other game notes for our friends at Litco Law. Do you think you might need a personal injury lawyer, but you're not sure and you don't know where to start? Litco Law has been helping injured Edmontonians for over 50 years. They pride themselves on being lawyers you'll love. They're friendly, they're approachable, they actually care, and you can always get a hold of them when you need them. Don't take my word for it. Go to litcolaw.com and find out for yourself. And the best part, every consult is free. So what do you have to lose? Go to litcolaw.com. Here's an interesting one. This one came from Zach Dooley, who covers the LA Kings. He views this, and it's interesting because it's obviously a Kings perspective. I was reading through the LA Kings insider stuff. The view of how the Kings have had a great opportunity in each of the last 3 series and choked it away at some point. So in 2022, Game 6 at home, tied 2-2 in the third period. Kings have a chance to win that series and end it with 1 goal. They have the Oilers hemmed in, but what happens? Tyson Barrie back the other way, fires one home. Evander Kane flash up the 7 in the empty net. LA was in. I remember watching that game at our watch party that year and just being like, "This sucks." Nothing. And that was at the point again, first, still with the Winnipeg and Chicago series and all of that stuff. The years without the playoffs, I just remember sitting there being like, "Good shit never happens to us."
Yeah,
the Oilers never get that clutch goal, that moment that flips a series, and then Barrie scores, and it's like. It came out of nowhere because they were getting outplayed. And it was just like, oh my God, something good happened to us.
Tyson Barrie.
It blew my mind. In 2022, so it was that. In 2023, they were up 3-0. The Kings were on home ice. Game 4. Jack Campbell comes in for Stuart Skinner, stops Victor Arvidsson on a breakaway. Oilers storm back, win that game in OT. Zachary Martin-Hyman. Edmonton comes back, does not look back, wins the next 2 games, finishes them off Game 6 on the road in LA. Last year, Game 4 at home, 0-0 game. How late in the game was that one even 0-0?
The Oilers scored in the second period. Evan Bouchard, the only power play attempt of the game.
Oh yeah, he fired home.
Scored.
Kings never got a goal. If they score 2 on Stuart Skinner in that game, who knows how that series goes? All of a sudden, it's 2-2 heading back to Edmonton, not 3-1. Like, again, it would have been a similar spot Edmonton was in if they don't win Game 4. So, like...
and even, like, Game 5 last year against the Kings, what did the final score end up being? I think it was 4-2, 5-2 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't actually that close. If you remember the game, I think it was Laferriere.
Yeah.
That's the one, right? The puck went off the camera hole and bounced to the middle of the ice and had an empty net. And then they also scored when the goalie was pulled. Was it David Riddick?
Yeah, Riddick was out.
It's like, really, they kind of got 2 of their lucky goals in that game or whatever it ended up being. So
it was 4-3, 1 off the camera hole, 1 into an empty, with the goalie pulled.
Yeah, I don't think that game was actually a 1-goal game either. So, yeah, positive trends for Edmonton. They just got to play their game tonight. Colby had a point of the forwards when defensive breakdowns are happening, like we obviously like to jump on the defenseman, but a lot of the time it kind of is the forwards that are making those errors. Like, they need to play as a team in all three zones. They do that, they win.
Mm-hmm. NHL Sid had another one here. Draisaitl's line decisively controlled play against both Kopitar, who he was +1 against with an 80% expected goals for percentage. Byfield, Draisaitl dominated as well, +2 with an 82% expected goals for percentage. Crazy numbers. The bad news, Sid says, is that Danault effectively shut down McDavid's line at 5-on-5 when he wasn't with Draisaitl. Danault v. McDavid with no Leon on the ice, -1, 37% expected goals for percentage. Nuge's line was outshot and outchanced at all three of LA's top lines. So the Nuge line got dominated. Okay. McDavid couldn't solve Danault, or Danault was just all over McDavid. The Draisaitl line is the one that found a way to thrive in both games 1 and 2 on the road. Or sorry, so far in this series against the Kings' big guns. So, again, if you give me Connor McDavid versus Philip Danault for a third straight road game, I know McDavid ended up finding the back of the net a few times in game 1, obviously, but like, I don't know, eventually, right? Eventually Connor McDavid's going to figure out a way, you'd think.
I would put my money on him figuring out a way. Sorry, that Nuge line that you had to, was that specifically against Danault?
No, that was like, RNH's line was outshot and outchanced against all three of LA's top 9.
On the road?
On the road.
Gotcha. Because he came back and I thought the first 2 games at home were a bit better, but I would be curious to know, not to continue to work here, but I wonder how Draisaitl's been on his own. You know what I mean? Like,
but he's done better against Kopitar and Byfield.
Yeah, with them. It's clear what the plan has to be. McDavid and Draisaitl.
That's why I kind of said team them up, right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Are you worried? So that is where that's why I kind of walked down that road of like, okay, if you pair them up, they are so dominant no matter who they're on the ice against. Can you trust? Do you have 2-3 other lines you can trust in that scenario, though? I don't know. You might just have to play Connor and Leon 25, 26 minutes tonight. It might just have to be one of those nights. And power play, penalty kill, all that stuff will determine the minutes. But, like, I don't know. There's just a part of me that's like, man, just play the hell out of them tonight. Just get this win. I want it so bad. Come back to Edmonton. If guys are fatigued, if guys are banged up, whatever, you'll deal with it. Get back with a lead for Game 6. Play the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play like it's your last.
I mean, yeah, I think tonight does have to have a certain element of must-win season on the line hockey.
100%.
Game 1, games 2, I didn't really think you needed it. Games 3, games 4, you obviously needed it, and the Oilers came through, played desperate in the third, found ways to win. Tonight, you have to have that desperation right out of the gates.
I just don't want to see him having to push back again in the third. Like, I can deal with, like, games tied, whatever, going into the third period, but, like, give me a lead going into the second intermission. Like, give the guys a different vibe in there. Put a level of doubt in the Kings, you know. Force Jim Hiller to challenge something that's clearly a goal.
Yeah.
You know, make him coach.
Oh, if you make Jim Hiller coach, this series is over. Okay. Our boy Jay, I think, is going to be here soon. I think I might have heard a noise there. Maybe I'm just hearing
Ghost?
Okay, well, it's either Ghost or it's Jay coming up. One of the two. Let's do a little playoff report for our friends at Boston Pizza. This year, we bring it home. If we plan it, we will win it. If we believe it, if we manifest it, you got to believe that your boys can come through. Last year, a lot of people said this team wasn't good enough to go on a deep run. In the end, they did. A lot of Canadian fans got on the bandwagon. Shout out to Boston Pizza, who wants to see a Canadian team bring it home this year. Tomorrow, they're bringing us some of their new wing flavors.
I can't wait. I get very hungry on Wednesdays because it's one of our shorter days of the week. Like, it's the only day of the week we don't have 2 shows.
Yeah.
So kind of a weird day for me. So I'm excited for the wings.
Doing less work makes you more hungry.
Well, I don't pack a lunch on Wednesdays.
Because you drive back home.
Because I just go home. But I am hungry when I'm driving home.
I see. Well, we're going to have some food on
Spicy
on Wednesday
wings
from Boston Pizza.
Yeah.
The reason why the whiteboard says this today, by the way, Avs down 3-2. Nathan McKinnon is screaming at his teammates on the bench, which is just absolutely insane. Can you imagine Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby yelling at someone the way Nathan McKinnon yelled at Charlie Coyle on the bench?
Do you remember a few years ago when, we obviously all will, but like when Rasmus Anderson scored the goal on Mike Smith, and Mike Smith just went to the bench and started yelling at Marcus Niemelainen? and he wasn't.
Is that who that was?
I'm 99% sure that's.
Oh, Niemelainen never played in a playoff game.
He did that in a game at least. I specifically remember he allowed a bad goal against and then just yelled. It must have been Broberg and Niemelainen. I must be mistaken the wrong game, but I'm sure someone remembers. That's what it reminded me of. It's just like, do your job. I don't know. It just feels like McKinnon needs to chill out.
The only defenseman who...
Charlie! What's that from? What movie is that Charlie from?
Like, he's giving it to him here.
Yeah. Unbelievable. That's why he wears a C, an A.
Yeah. Neither Broberg or Niemelainen played in that series.
I wonder what game that was. Maybe it was San Jose. That sounds familiar. I don't know. Maybe someone will let me know. Bring back Niemelainen.
San Jose in 2017?
I can't remember. It was some other time.
I do remember Smith yelling, but they played 7 defensemen that series: Kulak, Russell, Ceci, Barry, Nurse, Bouchard, and Keith. Bouchard had 3 goals in that series. So sick.
2 of them in the first game.
Yeah.
Remember?
Hashtag bring back Niemelainen from Brett. Nope, we're good. All right, Brandon Hagel ruled out. We touched on that with Colby. Sorry, just quickly on the Avs. Mackenzie Blackwood, I believe, yanked last night in that hockey game. Can't believe that. The Avs are spiraling, though, is my point. And, like, after game 2, even though it was 1-1, it was like, man, they are in the dry. Like, I thought that series was going to end in 5. I had an Avs minus 1.5 games ticket. That's now totally gone. But Cale Makar, like, this is where I wanted to take this playoff report. And I had Ken Bolke on from Sinbin Vegas earlier today. You look at other series, and there are star players that are just no-shows. Cale Makar does not have a 5v5 point. His team's down 3-2. Jack Eichel does not have a 5v5 point. His team is down or is tied 2-2 with the Minnesota Wild. I mean, even to an extent, I know they're up 3-0, but like, go look at Austin Matthews' stat line right now. He has 1 goal in the 4 games. I know he has 6 points. He's racked up the assists, but like, even Matthews hasn't really looked like himself in that Ottawa series. He hasn't for a while. But like, those other 2 guys, Makar, 0 5v5 points. Dallas had to wait till last game for their stars to wake up. Jack Eichel hasn't really has basically done nothing for the Vegas Golden Knights. And it's just so interesting. And I think maybe we lose sight of how lucky we are as Oilers fans, where the one constant, the one thing you absolutely never need to doubt when you're going into a playoff game, into a playoff series, I should say, Connor, Leon, and Bush will show up. Like, look at this. 9 points, 9 points, 7 points, and then next on the list is Perry at 3, who's been great, but like...
Yeah, it's remarkable. They never fail to help his team win games in the playoffs, you know, and health being one thing. Obviously, Draisaitl struggled in the finals last year, but he was injured, and that kind of just is what it is. But you're right. Like, some guys are really struggling out there, and even like on the LA Kings, you can see their stars have showed up too. Kempe has 9 points.
Kempe's been excellent. I have a very significant wager on Connor McDavid to finish with the most points in this series.
Oh, yeah.
Kempe is the one that's scaring me. Draisaitl as well, obviously. But like, I still feel like McDavid will outproduce Draisaitl at the end here. But the Kempe thing is definitely scary.
Have you seen the top 4 scorers in points in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Let me guess, because I think I know.
Okay.
So, Connor Leon.
Yeah.
Nate.
No. Kempe, I just said.
Oh, Kempe. Sorry, yeah. Connor.
So those are 3. 9 points. No one else has 9 points.
Okay. Then
who is 4th?
Cam Fowler with 8.
Yes, it is Cam Fowler with 8. It's 1.
He's insane.
But here's the crazy part about it. He has 1 goal, 7 assists. He is even on the series. The other crazy part, Kempe, 9 points, -5.
That's insane.
That is crazy stats. He's got to be one of the worst in the NHL. And plus minus kind of is what it is. Jack Eichel, -7. Gallagher, -6. Stefan Noesen, -6. Kopitar, Theodore, Kempe, Drouin, -5.
Theodore's been brutal.
Yeah.
He got better last game, but like, oh man. Kirill Kaprizov, yes, him and Boldy have been just spectacular.
Unreal. Which, Boldy. Do you know, like, obviously the Oilers took Broberg. That draft class is unreal.
It's turning into like one of the best ones in recent memory.
Yeah, and he was 13th overall. Crazy that 12 other teams passed on him. Just like his size and like his ability, you would think he would be able to have gone higher in that draft. But it's what it is. Credit Minnesota. They've been able to draft some good players recently.
And it's not like Philip Broberg was a bad pick now.
No,
Like,
it wasn't.
Crazy.
I mean, Alex Turcotte went 5th. Also, a message from Waz. Hey, guys, Jay's still at his desk.
Yeah, Jay's still on that big company-wide call.
Oh, wow.
And a busy day for us. Corporate.
That's why I don't do it.
Well, we're only not on the call because we're doing this, talking to the people, which is why we're filibustering. I'm not ending this. I'm not going on that call today.
What time's it end?
It was supposed to end at 12:30. That's why Jay was supposed to be here. Well, then I guess sans Jay. No, let's do keys to victory, actually. I like keys to victory more than...
I like looking through these stats and seeing who's like first in every category.
Okay, well, then you keep doing that.
Who do you think has the most shots in the NHL? I'll give you a clue. They have 31.
Fuck, Bush had 9 last game, but it's not him. Is it Slavkovsky?
It is not. It is Nathan McKinnon. Second place, Cole Caulfield at 21.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Slavkovsky had something like 12 through his first 3 games or something.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not even in the top 10 anymore.
Well, shit. All right, let's get to our keys to victory for tonight. Brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Motorcycle season just around the corner. Lake season just around the corner. That means you got to get your boat tuned up. Got to get your bike, your ATV all ready for the summer so you do not miss any time. I mean, you've already probably missed some really beautiful weather days, but Saturday's like plus 27. It is the perfect time to start heading out on the water. Start thinking about your summer adventures. You can get ready with our friends at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Hockey fans helping hockey fans. Liam, what's your key to victory for tonight?
Key to victory tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Power play. Penalty kill.
Yep.
Special teams battle.
Yep.
You can beat them at 5-on-5, but you can't beat yourself on the special teams.
I like that.
There you go. That's
yeah.
mine.
If you keep their power play quiet again tonight, so much more confident in the chances of them winning this hockey game. So I totally agree with that. Mine, your start tonight's going to be massive. Again, I know you've come back in back-to-back games. You came back in game 1. The Kings in the third period have not been good. Totally understand all of that. It's unsustainable to keep playing from behind, and I want to see the Kings get scrambly. Yeah. I think they're going to try come out and be very like, we're not rattled. I think this might be the most physical we've seen this Kings team play. I think they're going to try come out, get the crowd going, all of that stuff. If you're Edmonton and you can get to them early and get a lead, you know that on that bench, they're starting to be how are we doing? Like I talked about this yesterday. It's going to be, how are we doing this again? Yeah. How are we playing so well through 4 games and we're on the verge of being down 3-2? They're going to start dreading. We have to go back up to Alberta into that barn with that crowd with our season on the line again. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I totally get the goaltender. The coaching is interesting. I know we spoke about it yesterday. It's just like they're sitting back in the third period and all that stuff. Like it can work in the regular season because
teams don't have this
games. It's
teams
different
don't have the
every
same
night.
Jam every night.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't play Connor McDavid every night.
I find it so interesting that like. Remember last season when the Kings got eliminated? They were like, we do not want to play the trap. Like, we have to get away from the trap. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, surely these same players can go to their head coach and be like, hey, Jim, why don't we try this? Like, why don't we just, like, slightly adjust? I know, like, I don't think they need to break away from their game plan. As much as, like, it was a kind of a silly comment from Hiller, but like, he is right. They were very close to just getting the puck out of the zone and winning a game, be up 3-1. It's close is not good enough.
And if Trevor Moore doesn't hit the post or whoever it was, then it's over. Yeah,
but like, surely he can look at this and be like, maybe let's adjust it slightly. Let's attack a little bit more. Put him on the back foot. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully he's just a stubborn guy and sticks to what he knows, but what he knows might not be good enough.
All right, let's get to some comments for the YouTube chat brought to you by Nation Beer and Odd Company Brewing. 2 locations in Edmonton, downtown or the Ritchie location. The pizza, so good. If you see Odd Company, not even just Nation Beer, any of the Odd Company stuff at your local liquor store, grab yourself a 4-pack, enjoy the hockey game tonight. What do we got? Newfie Sniper. The look on Doughty's face at the end of overtime showed a sign of here we go again. He said after game 1, if they would have lost that game, it would be deflating. Now they did it in both games 3 and 4, and I think that's a really good point going back to Doughty's quote in game 1. Giant Mike, great teams have the 2 stars and great offensive defenseman model. Crosby, Malkin, Letang, Taves, Kane, Keith, all studs all the time. Yeah, that's a great comparison. James, yours was funny. We had another one that I thought that was a good key to victory. Mulick said, special teams battle plus go out and dominate the first 10 minutes. Also said we're going to get a Jake Wallman legacy game tonight. Mr. Burns, special teams play with discipline in the first 40. That's a good point. Don't give them power plays in the first 40. Won't give them the chance to take over this hockey game. Have to dominate for 60. You have to play smart for 60. Bouchard almost had a hattie last game. Just hit the corner bar. He did.
He did. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. And he had a bar in the second period too. Or in game 3 as well.
He did.
Came in down the wing. Second period.
By Kuemper there as well.
All right.
New to the bar as well last game? Post bar, something weird, right? Everyone thought they scored in the arena. Can't remember.
Okay. Bet365 game day betting challenge, Liam. I don't think Jay's going to make it today, so we're just going to jump right into this bad boy. Bet365 is an official betting partner of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Whether it's money line, team totals, player props, game props, you can even bet on futures like the series winner, conference champions, and the Stanley Cup champions. Whatever you bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app, get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Did we all win our bets last game? Did Jay win a bet?
Jay won a bet.
And he's not even here to gloat?
I know. I guess when you all pick Oilers puck line, they win so handedly. It makes sense that we were all able to get one across the line. You hit a 425. I hit puck line, which is 180. And Jay also... No, he hit puck line and McDavid 2 points, which was plus 300.
Oh, there we go. Is he going to make a grand entrance right as this is going?
This is amazing stuff.
There's the beeping of the door.
I hear beeping.
Just in time to celebrate his first win in the betting challenge in months.
I'm in playoff mode, people.
You're still in last. Everybody won.
I know.
But you got to win, and that's what matters.
We got a big win. Puck line in the playoffs? Come on.
Yeah.
That was a good one on Friday. Last time we talked to you, the Oilers were down 0-2. Now the series is tied up.
We did it, boys.
What
a weekend.
Do you like the whiteboard today?
I mean, yeah, you get, there's two people inside that one person. And we got the first version and for games 1 and 2. And we're getting the awesome version in games 3 and 4.
I would love to know even how many defensemen in league history have scored 4 goals in 2 playoff games.
This is the Bouchard enigma.
Yeah.
Right? Right. So right now we're riding the high. So you fucking ride that high.
Let's go. Okay, let's get to our bets for tonight. Here's the standings. Liam's 2-1. I'm 1-2, but I hit such a juicy one that I'm actually in first place. Jay's 1-2, only 1.25 units off. Tonight, here's what I got for everybody. McDavid, 2+ points. Bouchard, point. Evan Bouchard, 3+ shots on goal. He had 9 last game, which is crazy. So I might even ride a bit of a ladder with Bouchard and sprinkle on a few of the high ones again. But McDavid, 2 points. Bouch a point. 3 shots for Bouch. And the money line is a very, very nice plus 550. That's what I'm going with. Liam.
Draisaitl goal, plus 140.
Keep it simple.
Don't believe in them winning, eh? Just don't have the bravery to put in money line.
Stealing
a game on the road.
I will do it if you want. I'm going to do it separately. Plus 105. I looked.
You're a different man in playoffs. I respect you.
I'm swinging a little bit.
I like it
a little bit. You gotta.
Well, we're flying high and we put points up. That's for sure. I'm simple. Money line is plus.
Puck line, you mean? You said puck line. We're gonna check the tape.
I can change.
Oh no, he said Oilers money line. Sorry, plus 105.
I would have wrote it if it was my mistake.
No, he said money line. So
tight game. It's gonna be a tight game. Cal's our pal.
You're getting that, plus 105, courtesy of our friends at Bet365. Over under 6.5. Overs hitting every game in the series.
That's an under game.
You think they're finally gonna keep it under? What's your key to victory for tonight?
If we're stealing it on the road, it's
low scoring.
So now we have to weather the storm. That first period is going to be a storm.
You think so?
Man, if LA has any pride, there's a storm in the first period. So we have to weather that storm and come out of it either down 1 or tied. And, they're going to be probably a little bit more aggressive and trying to take away our time and space like we did to them in overtime. But if we're the overtime Oilers, we got this.
Did you go to the game?
I did.
How was it? What was the feeling?
Well, once again, similar to game 3, there's 10 minutes left in the third on Friday, and you're like, oh my God, we're going down 3-0. This is crazy. I can't believe we're just giving this away. I can't believe it's happening. And then boom, what? And then same thing. It's like, oh my God, we're down 2. Like LA's gonna clamp it down, which they did a little too much. That's going to be tough to get to, but okay, let's just get it to overtime. I just kept saying okay, this game's going overtime. This game's going overtime. And then boom, there it is. So it was electric. It was an emotional roller coaster.
What kind of angle did you have on the Donaire gun exploding?
What do you mean, what kind of angle?
Did you see it?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I wish I saw it. I saw your tweet and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
That would, imagine just that landing on you.
It would have been an honor.
So yesterday, we obviously posted 6 or 7 clips from all of our different shows.
Went nuts.
That one performed the best out of all of them. Me explaining the
They had
Donaire.
over 200 shares on Instagram.
Donairs are a very passionate topic.
They are.
We should talk about them more.
The Oilers have to release the video of it. You know they have
you
an angle.
To. That's
Turn the series around.
Thing.
It might have.
Like,
that's our thing. We got the old folks home doing their thing, and we got the don't air gun exploding.
You can live with a little bit of lettuce, but imagine being the
You're
person.
really
I just think it's
seeing the
so
humor in
funny.
this.
Imagine like PETA just landing on someone's face.
and a
like,
tomato
damn.
land on stuck to someone's cheek. Like
Jay,
this
on
is,
Friday, you said we needed a moment to galvanize the fan
Maybe
base.
that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the don't air gun.
It has to organically happen. A don't air gun malfunction is definitely up there in the pantheon of things you need to hold your future, anchor your future onto.
I could only imagine what that would look like. That would
Draw it out.
Got me right now. All I can see in my head is just people.
Maybe we should reenact what a don't air explosion would look like.
Get a gun. Don't air a gun.
Well, just like pretend, and then someone throw it. Shadur Sanders it, shout out Brown's 5th round pick, and let it fly all over Waz.
Leo Donuts riding high on the Oilers tonight. Yeah, the Kings win 75% of their home games, but that just means they have to drop one of the next two.
It means they lose 25% of them, and we are due.
And the Oilers only have to win.
Just gotta win
this
tonight.
series. If they go 4 games, they only have to win 25% of their games at crypto.
Yeah.
Therefore, they will win tonight.
Yeah, win tonight. Yeah, and then win at home. Okay, are you guys going long today?
No, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up right now. All right.
I'm going to the game.
Oh, wait. You're going on Thursday.
No matter what.
No matter what now.
Yeah. Mistaken Mexican has given me his ticket for the game.
Wow.
To sit next
We got to give him something.
to sit next to McMullet.
Nice.
Now
That's an
that
honor.
is-
That's a
What
good
an
seat.
amazing thing to do.
That means
Thank you very
screen
much.
time
Good
responsibility.
seat. I don't know why you set up this mic like this.
Gotta
But
brush
anyways,
my
here we are.
hair.
Okay.
I'm going to be at Greta tonight. So is Aaron. Pre and post game gets going at 7 o'clock on the Oilers Nation YouTube. Come to Greta, hang out with me, hang out with the whole crew, and giddy up. Let's get ready. Tonight, the series comes back into the Oilers' hands. Pre-game at 7. Shout out to Colby for swinging by. That is a wrap on today's edition of the show. We'll see you back tomorrow. Oil up.